Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community, Oceania Hundoke, together with Reverend Daniel Meadows, presenting this morning on this lovely Sunday, the 4th of January 2026, or the 16th of November in the 13th year of Chongalguk. So thank you all for coming, and let's begin. Let's begin as always with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanti Champuninge Kambai Paro. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가존맨세 8. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참 사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신의 일체 이상을 이루어 지산천국과 천산천국의 해방권과 속방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges having entered the era of Chongalguk to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Thank you. I'd like to share Mother's prayer again. We are sincerely grateful that you have permitted us to dedicate this holy temple in Yongsan Boro, Seoul, where we may attend you in a precious and exalted manner for the first time. We thank you that you have made this dedication ceremony so that this holy temple can shine brightly throughout the world as a place where our Chongsong in the hearts of all members can be gathered to form a foundation on which the entire country and the entire world, all humanity, will be able to recognize that the true owner is working his will substantially. May all who come and go here feel the boundless yearning and the love of our Heavenly Parent in heaven every time they look upon this temple of unificationism. May your special blessing be upon all your children who work here. May all the world see that you live and that you are carrying out your work directly. Thank you. Thank you that you have given us this day. Heaven has endured so much as it walked a difficult path, being badgered and driven, working in the dark and without recognition. Now a holy temple has been opened where we can boldly reveal you and attend you. Please give your blessing so that your blessing and grace may be revealed to the world. Thank you for all that has taken place today in this ceremony. We now offer this luncheon on this day of Jongsong and ask that you partake of it first. We thank you and report to you in the name of the true parents. Arju. Thank you. And before we listen to Reverend Daniel, I want to share a praise song. Thank you.
거친 파도 날 향해 와도 부모님과 날아오르리 폭풍 가운데 나의 영혼 잠잠하게 하늘 보리라 부모님 안에 오직 부모님만을 믿습니다. 거친 파도 날 향해 와도 부모님과 날아오르리 높은 가운데 나의 영혼 잠잠하게 하늘 보리 거친 파도 날 향해 와도 그 어떠한 어려움이 있더라도 저희들 함께 한다면 참 부모님과 하나 된다면
If we are one with heavenly parents and true parents, no matter what storm lies ahead, we'll be able to overcome it.
나 거하네 부모님만을 저희들은 언제나 믿습니다. 그 어떤 거친 파도가 저희들을 향해 오더라도 저희들의 참 부모님과 하늘 부모님과 함께 한다면 저희들 식구 모두가 하나 된다면 기필코 이겨낼 수 있습니다. 그렇게 이 확신을 가지고 올해 한 해도 함께 나아갑시다. 거친 파도 날 향해 와도 날 향해 와도 부모님과 날아오르리 높은 가운데 나의 영혼 잠잠하게 하늘 보리라 거친 파도 날 향해 와도 부모님과 날아오르리 높은 가운데 나의 영혼 잠잠하게 하늘 보리라
Thank you. And now let's welcome up Reverend General as he shares this morning. Thank you.
Seconds. Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to read some from the Cheongsong Book 7, Chapter 1. This part of the Cheongsong is about at the 3 stages of life. And anyway, that felt a bit, as we're at the start of the year, felt like, well, it's a good time to look at the stages of life. And anyway, I found it's inspiring, so I'll read it now. Human beings live for 10 months in the womb, 100 years in the physical world, and for eternity in the spirit world. Our face has 3 levels: the mouth, the nose, and the eyes. These represent the 3 ages of human life. Our mouth symbolizes the age in the womb, the material world. Our nose represents the age on the earth, the earthly human world, and our eyes represent the age of heaven, the spirit world. It's very interesting that Father talks like this, having our eyes, nose, and mouth representing different stages in life. I do think it sounds correct that the eyes are what would represent the spirit world, because when you look at someone and you try and look deeply into them, you don't look at their nose and you don't look at their mouth. You're really watching their eyes and having a look at that. It's sort of, they call it the window to your soul. The water in the womb of the mother is a universe of freedom for the baby. Even though the baby has to stay hunched up at all times and cannot kick wherever it pleases, and its nose and mouth are blocked, that place is still a universe of freedom for the baby. The vessel that supplies the baby with all that it needs joins at the navel, and the baby can breathe only through that umbilical cord. Yet, that world is still a universe of freedom for the baby. So it's a bit hard to sort of imagine, but it does make a whole lot of sense that when the baby in the womb, not knowing anything else, will feel like, oh, this is a very free situation. It's a very nice and comfortable world. When you were in the womb, did you have thoughts such as, I will go out into the world and eat honey, rice cakes, rice, beef, and everything else with this mouth? No. In fact, you were breathing through the umbilical cord and thinking, if I leave this place, I will die. To us, it seems that a fetus should feel stifled, and yet the baby in the womb is anxious about going out and says, I wish I didn't have to leave. Nevertheless, when the time comes and the water breaks, everything comes rushing out. Naturally, along with the gush of the amniotic fluid, the baby is safely delivered and everything is fine. So the baby also feels like it's not going out of the womb is kind of like death, kind of a terrible situation. Even though we know that once you come out the womb, you can breathe, you can eat. There's all kinds of very nice things that you can't enjoy in the womb. In the womb, you can't even breathe or see or use your body to the fullest. But yeah, I think it sounds correct that when the baby comes out, it's very terrifying. They're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm leaving the womb, I'm going to die, like something like this. That would make sense of their crying, of some aspect of that, is that they are really quite terrified. And so you have to put the baby on the mother, and then they can hear the sound of the body, and then they feel a bit less scared, a bit less anxious, because they can hear something familiar, because the mother's body makes a lot of noise in the womb. Sometimes they say you can make white sound, like going shh or something like this with your mouth, in order for the babies to be comforted and to go to sleep. Life on earth is analogous to life in the womb. For here we are surrounded by air. Just as we lived bathing in the waters of the womb, we are living in an air pocket. The very moment we think of as the hour of death is actually our birth into our third life. Dragonflies start out as larvae, and as such, they swim in the water. Then they come out onto the land and crawl for a time. Then they fly freely to and fro, feeding on insects they would never have thought of eating while they were living on land. They fly around with the entire world as their stage. Many insects develop through 3 stages of life. Most insects have wings. Considering the fact that even insects live in the water, on land, and in the air, would it do if we human beings, who are the lords of creation, lived only on land? We have wings of a high dimension. So it's very clear, the analogy that Father was really building up to, talking about the how in the world of air, in our life on earth, we have that same limited concept of the next world. People walking around all the time really believing that the only thing in life is just what's in front of us now, the work that we do, and then, you know, the politics we have, and the friends we have, and the family we have, and everything in this world. That's all there is, just the life on earth. In the same way, the baby in the womb thinks the same. They think that, well, I just eat from my umbilical cord, I breathe from that, and I'm happy here. And if, you know, on the day of birth is the day of death for them, in a sense, the same sense that in the day of our death, it's not really viewed as a second birth, except by people who know. So we have that, anyway, this very interesting analogy there of our first life of water and second life of land. And Father talks about how the insects likewise have a similar kind of cycle. You are born on earth in order to experience love. You need to breathe in the air we call love. You need to breathe the air of love from your mother and father. That's a very beautiful quote there. You need to breathe the air of love from your mother and father. They breathe that life into you. You should go through everything in life while being supplied with the air of love. Indeed, I think if you have to go through life without love, it's a tough life. In fact, they say that the people who don't have someone to rely on, or don't have someone to love, are really lacking in that way, tend to be very short-lived physically, which is an interesting thing to consider. Once you are born as a baby in a family, you need to follow a path similar to a sine curve, going up along the curve and coming down. You are born as a baby, and eventually, over time, your body breaks down. You are born as a baby, and when you go back to being a baby again, kind of interesting, like to think about that. I remember it was said once that children, the elderly are much like children, in a sense. So it's just interesting that Father talks about like that we go back to being a baby. We start out needing help and sort of being fairly fragile, and then we go through life, we strengthen up, we live our lives, and then at the end of our lives, our body is starting to break down, we become fragile again, and need help like a child kind of thing. When this takes place, what is about to happen? you will detach yourself from the world of the second womb and connect yourself to the respiratory organs of the third world of love. You leave behind your loving parents and siblings and enter the world of love that is in total harmony with the original being of the great cosmos, God. The spirit world is filled with air of love. Therefore, while you live in the earthly world, you should equip yourself with a supply line that will enable you to breathe that love. Hence, you need to have experiences with the spirit world. You need to develop into someone who can feel love spiritually and breathe the air of love. Having this understanding of spirit world seems to be a very important point in the development of our third life in the spirit world. It's not that the people who do not have the understanding will necessarily, they will still have life in the world of spirit, but it certainly seems to be pushed that the more we understand, the easier it is, and the better it is. The better we are on that plane. So Father's saying that you need to have experiences with the spirit world, which is very interesting. That sounded a little strong for me, but I felt it's true that we definitely need experience of love for sure. I think the principle makes very clear about that point, that how we develop our love is certainly that's a true maker or breaker for our life in the spirit world. Having experiences of the spirit world, that is very interesting that Father would speak about that and say that that's a must. You must have some kind of experience. So I do wonder what degree that is, because there's very minor spiritual experiences, and then there's kind of major ones as well, and everything in between. When we leave this planet Earth, which is like our mother's womb, and pass on, we will breathe with the respiratory organs of love. That is, with our windpipe of love. We can gain eternal life only when we connect to the third age of love. By connecting to that love, we can return to God. We return to the spirit world by binding the respiratory organs of love. Yet we still have some distance to traverse to return to God, the original being. Because the original being is the origin of the seed. It must return to him after bearing fruit. So there's a bit to unpack here, I felt, when I read this. So we need to connect or bind ourselves to the organs of love, to the respiratory organs. It makes it sound a bit like there's some sort of development there. It's sort of hard to know exactly what Father speaks about when he's talking about this, but it then says, yet we still have some distance to traverse to return to God, the original being. So interesting. The origin of God is the seed. God is the origin of the seed, sorry. So we must, after bearing fruit, come back to God and return the seed. We return to God from whence we came. This makes sense, and this, I think, the hope of all religious people is that idea of returning back to God, returning back to the origin, going back into the bosom of God in love. But when I read this, it does sound like, well, there seems like there's some process here, and it seems like there is some, he's saying there's some distance to traverse before we get to God. So I often wonder what is the meaning behind here. Is this some sort of level that we must reach, or some sort of development that we ought to have before we are able to really meet and go before God in the spirit world? My assumption was that it was always immediate. When you go to spirit world, then you go straight to God or something like this. But yeah, indeed, I don't know. We don't know, I guess, how it will work until we are there. But we must bind ourselves to the respiratory organs of love. Father talks about that in other places as well, quite extensively, talking about we have the 12 different relationships, and while we're on earth, we need to be able to connect with these 12 different types of people, these 12 different personalities. Some of them are very easy for us to connect with, and others are very difficult for us to connect with. So I feel like that's comes to mind when it talks about binding the respiratory organs of love. Father said it's not unless you open up all of those gates and figure out how to love all different, like all the 12 different types of people, the 12 personalities, then you're limited. You're limited with how you can move and where you can go in the spiritual world until you've done that. So this sort of process of binding to the respiratory organs of love does somehow make some kind of sense in that respect. We must be able to develop ourselves to move and to breathe with love. Certainly when we came out of the womb, it took some time, or even from conception, growing in the womb, it took some time to sort of be a part of that. And then in our physical life, we took time before we could really understand about the world and move freely in it. And even when that was the case, we really had to, you have to work on being able to deal with people and work on your character and everything like this in order to freely move in the physical world. So anyway, it seems like there's some kind of parallel like this in the spirit world too. Life is short. Yes, it is. 10 years can pass almost without you knowing. Yes, they can. Everything is decided in the 30 years after your marriage. Wow, I'll say. The path of life does not wait for you forever. Life is busy. We will have to die at some point. Do you have confidence that you will not die? You will surely die. And then you will go to the spirit world. Life on earth is but an instant. It is like the months spent in your mother's womb. The older I get, the more I agree how fast life can move and how much it's going to seem when my life is at an end. How much will it seem that the whole thing was just an instant? So when I think of, well, I mean, I don't remember the womb, but I imagine if I could, 9 months would seem like a very quick amount of time. Those who breathe love while on the earth do not die. Rather, they live. While breathing inside the mother's womb, we are preparing a windpipe suitable for the future world of air. Though we are alive, when we disconnect from the placenta that connects by a cord to our stomach and then come out, we are transformed to exist on a new, higher dimension. And we are supplied with high dimensional elements. We emerge and receive an infusion of air. After you emerge from the womb, what are you preparing for? Is it love? It is not only air which you are infused with, but love. You receive elements of love. You are not living only to eat. Then what should you be filled? What should you be filled with during your earthly life? You should form a new character of love during this time. Man does not live on bread alone, but by every word of God. We need to develop love. That is the principle talks about that point being the key part of the growth of our spirit and the development of that spirit. And that spirit of love is what we are left with when our physical body runs its course. Those who breathe love while on earth do not die, but rather they live. I think that's true in the physical world on earth, as well as in the spiritual world. Obviously, in the spiritual world, we know about salvation, about the development of love and this kind of thing. But at the same time, it's so important to have love while we are on earth. It's so important to be loved. And a part of that reciprocation is giving love too. And when you don't have that, then you might as well be dead. You know, you are walking in death because love doesn't come. And anyway, that's really, really a terrible existence, I think. We're preparing for love. Once you emerge from the womb, you've prepared yourself for life, but also for love. When we are in the physical world, we're preparing our hearts for love. We're growing and building ourselves up for that, for love, for the next world of deep heart and connection. So those are the readings. And that was a bit shorter than I thought it would be. Yes.
Thank you, Reverend Daniel, for sharing this morning. And before we share together, I'd like to share another praise song to help us reflect with. So I'll just bring that up. Right.
Let us all sing, "Oh, my little lambs."
어린 양아 얼마나 적막했던 너희 지기 병에 지쳐 죽게 되어도 눈물로서 소망을 준 자 없었고 사랑으로 참 생명을 준 자 없었다. 내 어린 양아 내 어린 양아 내 목자 앞에 가신다. 너를 위해 피를 흘린 참 목자시니 온 마음으로 그 자취 힘써 따르라. 몸은 비록 자리에서 못 잊지라도 저희가 이 순간에 앞이 보이지 않는 이
Even though the future may not look clear and our hearts are in pain and our bodies are weak, just as we just sang,
그 사랑만을 바라보고
let us only look towards Heavenly Parents, your parents' love, and completely unite, hold each other's hands, and become completely one,
축복 가정이라는 것을
and be able to really prove to the world who we are as blessed families. And only we move forward in confidence will we find our way, and will the light of Chanalguk illuminate even more brightly. Beloved members, through our songs of praise, through these prayers, let us all illuminate the new year of 2026. Let us all sing "My Little Lambs."
어린 양아 줄이고 목마를 때에 너 목자의 꼴을 먹고 물을 마셔라. 내 영혼에 생명이 풍성해지며 몸이 힘을 얻어 그때 맘껏 뛰어서 너희 있게 여호와를 찬양할지니 온 세상에 사랑을
Yeah, wow. Those praise songs are really powerful. And yeah, thinking about the words this morning, we acknowledge that we have three stages of life, within the womb, the earth, and the spirit, and how Father described them as being the mouth, the nose, the eyes, and I found the statement said over a few times, it's a universe of freedom. We might expect it to be stifling, but the baby, that's its full existence, a universe of freedom. It can do what it wants within the boundaries of the rules, and it's not complaining about its limitations, that can only breathe through an umbilical cord, that it's all squashed up. From the baby's perspective that's growing, it wasn't squashed. It's only at the very end before birth that like all the space is used up, as to say. Because when the seed and the egg join together, the space is huge. It's only just a few cells, and at what point is the baby the baby? Is it when it has all the organs and fully there? From one perspective, that's the time it's ready to come out. But at the beginning, where it's just developing all the different things it needs for the future, it's totally free, and that's something that continues. I mean, each level is a level of freedom, and the freedom is becoming more expansive. There's, the world can be confining if we stay in one place, but we have such a huge world, where one individual in the world is just like that one cell within the womb. It's so expansive, but eventually we will fill it up. There's no longer one individual. We got billions, over 8 billion, and it can still keep on going and still expand. And it's only freedom that is limited by ourself, what we do. It's the same in the womb. The baby can kick many times or not at all. And in the same, we can do many things, travel to many nations, above ground, below ground, within the water. We have everywhere. And then we have to breathe. And then, of course, go to the spirit world eventually. But when we look at that, places of breathing, it's the umbilical cord for the baby, our nose and mouth, we can breathe on earth. And Father once said that the fontanelle, the soft spot above the head, is a location point of connection to the spirit and how we breathe. So how to breathe love? How do we need to experience the spirit world? Well, we know that love is living for the sake of others. So how do we experience the spirit world? Is I believe it to be when I truly live for the sake of others, absolutely 100%, without any strings attached or conditions. Truly just give, and I think that is also the height of the expression of freedom, to be able to give everything, because that replicates God's principle of creation, where he literally gave everything, and his essence is in everything, and therefore we can proudly say we are God's children. I think experiencing the spirit world really means learning how to love. I don't think it necessarily means having supernatural experiences or some magical event take place. I think it's real. Spirit world is real, and to be able to breathe there, we need to be able to let go of everything. And when we let go of everything, you're totally free. I'm sure skydivers experience that as they jump out the plane, and before they pull that cord, that they are just experiencing a lot of sensations all at the same time. Anyway, some thoughts from me this morning, and so thank you, and open it up to anyone else who'd like to share. Please do. Yeah, go ahead now.
Oh, yeah. I left a note on the chat because I thought, how can dead people be alive, still alive? I just thought, oh, maybe it is what Father meant is that they continue to be alive through, the people that love them, or, through the love of exchange of love that person had with, people that are left behind. So, yeah, I guess it's a memory and the love that is carried on by the people that are still alive. That's my take on it. Yep. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Yes, Margaret, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Daniel. That was wonderful choice of reading. I always love Father's words on the connection between this life and the spirit world. I just put on the chat educating for true love, and the link for it that you can find in tipparents.org. And I found that this tool is very helpful because we speak of the family, the school of love, and the four realms of heart that we can experience in the family. And actually, this concept is what helped me transition from the love of my physical parents to true parents. It was hard for me to love true parents in the very beginning when I heard the principle, because I loved my parents and I thought I would betray them if I loved another set of parents. But when I understood that a true parent's teaching is talking about the four realms of heart connecting to God, that's the key point. It's not just love that we can understand it as we grew up in this fallen world. It's love that's connected to God's love. All the four realms of heart is centered on the four position foundation. A child's love is centered on God through the four position foundation, as well as siblings love and couples love and parental love. That's the key point. That's when I decided, oh, why do I want to love true parents? It's because they teach me about God that my parents did not teach in depth. My parents only taught me to love Jesus, but didn't teach me how I can connect to the heavenly parent. And so to me, it's a very important educational tool. I did a paper on it when I was taking Dr. Wilson's course, and I thought I knew, having gone through so many workshops, and I thought I knew what the school of love means. And until we went through each of the steps and realized, even Father talking about spherical love, I didn't know what that means. From all the different levels of love in the family, how we reach that spherical level of love. And it's all connected to God. And that's the key point. And if we don't understand it, it's not easy to explain it to people. Why family is a school of love. We can use all the social examples, but if we don't connect it to God, and then people just relate to it the way they understand love. Anyway, I just thought I'll share that. You might want to take a look at it. But again, Daniel, that was really great choice of Father's words.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah. We'll have a little bit of time for anyone else that wants to make a comment or share anything.
Can I just expand on what I said before? You know, that according to Father's words, you know, people that die are still alive. And I said that through the memory and love that is carried about them. So it makes sense that we invest in creating these relationships or growing ourselves, our character, our love. Yeah, it makes sense, you know, our sacrifices, the things that we do, as Father has said, through the level of heart and love that we have determines the place that we end up in the spirit world. So, and yeah, and also the more people that you reach or are touched by you, the higher the level of your existence, and you know, in people. or on this earth. Yeah. That's all. Thank you.
You know? Yeah. Okay, if there's no one else, then we can just go straight to our unison prayer. So, yep, I'll bring that up. 1 second.
Let us all.
Yes. Right, so let's pray. Jew, Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Reverend Daniel, for sharing, and I hope everyone has a great day and see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Daniel. God bless.
And Daniel, have a good day.